indeed. Peace and love this beautiful morning. Peace and love to every last one of you all this beautiful morning. It's going to take a couple moments, recenter, rebalance, ground thyself, and then we're going to go right on in. So let's just relax into ourselves. Just relaxing into the self. And I'm just clearing my mind by allowing it to be, holding on to no thought, holding on to no idea, initiating no thought or no idea, but just allowing everything to pass through, allowing my energy and my being to sit into my dantian, down into my center. And for those that aren't familiar with the dantian location, it'll be 2 fingers below the belly button and about 2 inches, 2.5 inches inside the being, inside the body. Two fingers below the belly button and 2 inches in. Right there, placing the mind and allowing the mind and the body to just drop into that location. And as you sit there and you feel yourself falling into that location or dropping into that location or settling in, you may also feel yourself settling in the mind area as well, your third eye region, your brow chakra area, or your crown. You may feel a slight tug, upward tug, while you feel the energy dropping down. This is an alignment, an alignment with the heavens and the earth, the ground upon which we walk, the air and the ethers upon which we travel and traverse and contemplate this earth, cosmos. These titles and names, we call these things, but in the truth and in their essence they are simply what they are. A divine expression of the source, much like ourselves, divine expressions of the source. And as we sit in this moment together, we sit in that awareness, the awareness of our own reflection, physical reflection, as a divine experience and expression of the source. All unique, all intentional, all necessary. It's a beautiful day this day. We give thanks this day for raising us up, blessing us with another day, allowing us to traverse this earth consciously, aware, as we ask for expansion and continued elevation and evolution of our own awareness and the awareness of our own selves, the further development and connection and integration with the divine principle, the divine source energy in this life, this lifetime, this time around. We give thanks for this day, this life, this moment, and each other. We give thanks for all the blessings, all the mercy, all the compassion, all the protection, and all the guiding light within and all around us, provided by you. Puja provides food for all things. Great Source provides food for all things. Creator provides provides food for all things. Let this day be our cup, and may our cups remain full and overflowing with joy, happiness, peace of mind and spirit, love of heart and mind, unconditional, prosperity, abundant, of life, and the necessities of life to sustain and maintain a happy life. We give thanks, and we receive it now. In the spirit of the Source and Creator we pray. We ask for guidance and direction and strength and protection, love, peace, and light and happiness. Amen. Ashe. This is life we're in, y'all. And a beautiful life it is. A beautiful life it is. It's a crazy world. Very crazy world. For the most part, it's gone much insane. But life and the beauties of it that we see when we may look in the mirror, that we may see when we look at our parents or our children. We may see when we look at the flowers and the bees, spring coming around with the butterflies and all the good things of life. But the Creator created it and saw it was good, this earth. Creator created and saw it was good, these animals and insects. Creator created and saw it was good, the cosmos and all within them. Saw it was good. Saw it was good. Something to be good, it has to be good, not bad. For something to be good, it has to be good. The truth is often hidden right in front of our face. The path is always before us, and we're always on it, even when it appears to be off. For things to be good, they have to be good. Be good to life, be good for life, be good, a positive add-on, be good, be godly, be divine, something uplifting, something adding on, something bringing more fruition, something bringing positivity, additive change, progressive elevation. Joy, happiness, peace, sustenance, food, clothing, shelter, adding on to life, not taking away from it. The good is often expressed and found and understood through action, through expression. How do we use this thing? How does this thing contribute to our lives? So we create a lamp, a light bulb. Hit the switches, helps us to see through the dark. We create the lamp and it helps us to see through the dark, and we see that this lamp is good. This flashlight, it's good. It helps us. The wrench, it's good. It helps us. The cooking pan is good. It helps us. The fork and the knife and the spoon, they help us. All of which are tools to help us sustain, maintain, progress, elevate, most importantly, live. But it's when we help versus when we do not help, the things that add on to life versus the things that take away from life, the things that are progressive versus the things that are regressive, recessive. Then we begin to see the things that are adding on and versus the things that are taking away, the things that are useful versus the things that are not useful, the things that are good versus the things that are so-called bad. All of which are simply states of being. But in what direction is it traveling, unfolding, unraveling? Is it building up or is it disintegrating? Is it building up or is it eating up? For it to be good, it has to be good. Be is in a state of, to be is in a state of an existence. To be is to exist. To be is also the second letter of our alphabet, B. The second letter, to be now. To be. Two being a number of wisdom, like we speak about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. To arrive at a wisdom, one must have knowledge, possess knowledge. To possess knowledge, one must be observant, aware, spend time, patience, study, research, and research, cross-reference, making sure one is right and exact. And when one is right and exact and they apply that knowledge, they begin and they apply that knowledge the way they know how, the best way they know how. One begins to use that knowledge in a wise fashion, wisely. Moving forward, helping others, adding on to life, speaking words of wisdom, carrying out actions wisely, progressively, adding on to life for the greater good of all, not just for self. But the add-on. And that action and that add-on and that positive and that wisdom is good. And if you knew good, if you know better, you do better. If you know good, you do good. But if you know good and you know bad, knowledge of good and evil, if you know good and you know bad and you choose to do bad, you bit the apple. If you know good and you know bad and you choose to do good, you stayed in the garden. Let me share something with you. This is from the Diamond Sutra. And in the Diamond Sutra, it states a couple things. It says, no one attains transcendental wisdom. No one attains transcendental wisdom. At the time Subhuti addressed Buddha, saying, world-honored one, if good men and good women seek the consummation of incomparable enlightenment, by what criteria should they abide, and how should they control their thoughts? If one wants to be wise, one wants to be the wisest, incomparably. No one can compare to this wisdom. If anyone wants to be incomparable in wisdom, in enlightenment, in love and life, what should be their actions? What should be their thoughts? What should be their criteria? And Buddha replied to Subhuti, good men and good women seeking the consummation of incomparable enlightenment must create this resolved attitude of mind. They must create this resolved attitude of mind. This one right here I'm about to read. I must liberate all living beings. Yet, when all have been liberated, surely not anyone is liberated. He said, if good men and good women seeking the consummation of incomparable enlightenment must create this resolved attitude of mind, I must liberate all living beings. Yet and still, when all have been liberated, surely not anyone is liberated. Wherefore, if a bodhisattva cherishes the idea of an ego entity, a personality, a being, or a separated individuality. He is consequently not a bodhisattva, Subhuti. This is because in reality, there is no formula that gives rise to the consummation of comparable enlightenment. There is no formula that gives rise to the consummation of incomparable enlightenment. Okay, well, if there's no formula, and how do we attain it? How do we wisen our minds when we don't know? How do we progress and get better when we have no teacher, or we're just out here and we're just trying to figure this thing out? How do we create a happy life? How do we create a happy spirit when we're out here and we're feeling in disarray? The Diamond Sutra, the practice of good works purifies the mind. The practice of good works purifies the mind. So he says, furthermore, Subhuti, this is all together everywhere, without differentiation or degree. Wherefore it is called consummation of incomparable enlightenment. This is everywhere, and this is how you get it. That's what he's saying. He says, it is straightly attained by freedom from separate personal selfhood and by cultivating all kinds of goodness. It is straightly, directly, immediately attained. Go straight path, right to it, not a roundabout way. Get right to it. Incomparable enlightenment. Get straight to it. By freedom from personal selfhood. Seeing yourself as part of the collective. Seeing yourself in others, in all things for that matter. Seeing yourself in all things. Personal selfhood is non-existent. You simply are. We simply are. These personalities, these inclinations, these are just simply merely tools and ingredients. Tools and ingredients for this dish. Your life soup. Your life experience. All the things that you taste and experience in this life, the things that you taste in this life are going to be slightly different than what other people taste, as well as myself. Though we may all be sampling together the same dish, all our palates are a little bit different. One might taste the sweetness a little bit more, the other might the bitter, the other the sours, the other the pungent. We're all inclined to our own inclinations, our own polarizations. But it's all one, and from one, and is one, existing within the one. And we begin to see these things and begin to see ourselves within these things and these things within ourselves. We begin to see that there is no separation between self and God. There is no separation between self and other, except for the idea, the illusion, the acknowledgement and the recognition of the illusion. And in that you make the choice, either I am other than, or you realize the acceptance of we are. And if we are, then we have to be. And if we're going to be, then it's got to be good. If it's going to be progressive, otherwise it's going to be bad. And there's going to be no togetherness, but separation and division and disharmony, fighting, war, all the things we see today. So to get back to this right state of mind, this right state of spirit, this right state of life and beingness, there's going to have to be a level of purification. Purification of mind, body, and spirit by way of good works, good conduct, which all starts with good thinking. Thinking positive, thinking righteously, thinking unified, thinking like all-inclusively, holistically, mind, body, spirit, physicality, and keeping things in their proper place, and things that are out of place, putting them in their place, separating the wheat from the tares and utilizing them how they need to be. The wheat, go ahead, okay, we're going to separate the wheat from the tares, use this wheat, we're going to cook up with this wheat and leaven this bread, and with these tares we're going to go ahead and put that in that furnace and keep the heat going and keep it nice and warm and fire. To cook the bread, to bake the bread. So we see Positive and negativity, yin and yang, they both are part of the making and the baking, as well as necessary for the feast, and to have the feast, and to have things to enjoy of this feast. So you're going to have to go through the life experience. You're going to have to go through the gamut. You're going to have to go through the highs and the lows, the hills and the valleys. You're going to have to go through it all. Riding the wave in self, centered in self, seeing the self in all things. That way you will not fall low. You will not go too high. You will simply be in the midst of all things. Pure acceptance and forgiveness. It is straightly attained by freedom from separate selfhood, personal selfhood, and by cultivating all kinds of goodness. Cultivating all kinds of goodness. Good actions, good thought, good speech. Let the words that come from your house, or from your mouth, the house, the mind, from the mouth, let them be good. Let them be positive. Let your words be fruitful and magic to people's lives. Let your words ring songs of love, peace, and happiness in people's lives. Let your words ring songs of truth and validation in people's minds and lives. Truth, not lies, not falsehood, not just fake air. No, truth of the being, of the who you see, how you see, the spirit in the individual. Speaking to the God within every individual, as opposed to the lower self in every individual. Because most of our conversation is, I'm talking about as a society, is speaking to the carnal mind. It's talking to the base self. It's talking to the lower self. It's in times like these and interactions like these when we link with like minds, when we start to speak from the divine and speak to the divine and have that divine interaction. Then we all leave from this conversation or this situation or this building or this place all infused with positive energy, motivation, and momentum moving forward to create something beautiful or to add on to life or continue to invest more into our projects. But the action is good because the thought is good. And the thought is good because the spirit is good in the right place. And the spirit is good because it knows what it is and what it is and where it comes from. The supreme source of goodness. But it still must exist within and experience all this. Because this too is part of the experience. This too is from the Creator. All things are from the Creator. And by way of the Creator. So Buddhi, though we speak of goodness, the Tathagata declares that there is no goodness. Such is merely a name. Though we speak of goodness, there truly is no goodness. It is merely just a name, something that we call things. We call things good. But in all reality, it is your nature to be good. We're taught to do bad. We're shown negativity. By way of the cartoon dropping the anvil, or the person tripping the other person on the cartoons laughing. We're taught and engineered for this. Negative thinking, negative thought patterns, negativity. It's when we allow ourselves to be going like this, like how we started this whole show, sitting there quietly and being ourselves, being with ourselves. It's when we allow ourselves to be with ourselves when we realize our truest self, our nature is good. For when you're sitting there by yourself, what harm are you doing? Naturally, you're at peace. Even when you're trying to work through the chaos that's happening in the mind, you're still sitting there and you're not conducting no negative energy. You're not conducting no negative action. You're not putting forth no negativity. You're simply working through the negativity to find the positive so that you can radiate that. But simply when you're sitting there being, you're not doing no harm. So it is a saying in the art of peace, to injure an opponent is to injure yourself. To injure an opponent is to injure yourself. And who would go out here want to injure themselves unless they are already hurt? Hurt people hurt people. So somewhere along the line, the person was hurt by someone else. And that someone else could have been in the form of somebody succeeding, and they just looked at themselves and didn't feel like they were just as good. And everybody else kind of like, maybe somebody else might have knocked them. Like, oh, you ain't as fly as this person, or you're not as good as this person, or what have you, or the person just might have just resided in their own self-doubt and didn't reach outside of that. But where there's thought, there must be action. So therefore, wherever the thought is, one must take action. You got to find out. And the action is never really truly justified on the first take. Oftentimes, we have to carry this thing out several times. Like, you don't get muscles just by lifting the bench press one time. You get big by multiple presses, consistently, consecutively, day after day, time after time. It's a daily practice. It's a lifestyle. So goodness has to be a lifestyle. And this is how the spirit continues to build and continues to expand in ways that are so magnificent. Purely because it's traveling in a direction that is naturally traveling. It's naturally growing. It's like planting a seed in its natural environment. It's going to grow fuller, stronger, and faster than it would if you put it outside of its environment, or an environment that's not sustainable, or an environment that's not conducive to its growth and development. So you place yourself in the right environment. And that right environment is placing your mind into your spirit, putting your emotions into your spirit, putting your physical body and living a spiritual lifestyle. From the source on out. Conducting good work, seeing yourself and your fellow brothers and sisters, seeing yourself in your fellow vegetation, in your plant life, and in the foods in which you intake, and praying over your foods before you intake them, and your waters before you intake them. Seeing yourself in the fish in which we're pulling up out of these lakes when we're going out here fishing. Seeing ourselves everywhere in all things, man. Recognizing the lessons of these things, for they've been here much longer than we have. Much longer than we have. So who is more adapted and accustomed to this earth? Who's living more harmonious and in tune and in tangent and in congruency with this earth? Humanity seems to be the only one out here dancing off beat and not finding its place in the harmonics of the grand scheme of life. Striking all kind of discord and striking all kind of symbols and sounds out of beat, out of tune, out of whack. And others cultivating the earth and working the earth and trying to get it back grounded again. But we have to make a decision and decide on which action we're going to put forth. And that comes from the heart. Filter everything through the heart and through the mind. But let it pass through the heart before it comes out. Let it pass through the heart as it comes in. Filter everything in the heart. But that's where the spirit resides. To control aggression without inflicting injury. To control aggression without inflicting injury. This is the art of peace. So therefore it goes back. We might be feeling chaotic in our mind. We control our aggression without inflicting. You're just sitting there. Go through the thoughts. You might be feeling mad and negative. You might even want to be acting out and do something to somebody. But just sit there and be. Sit there and breathe. Sit there, look over the lake and breathe and let it go. Take in the sun and relax. It will pass. The feeling and the cool, that heat will eventually subside and cool off. That tension will eventually subside and relax. That thought will eventually subside and change to a new idea, a new thought, or even just let it all go all together. Realize the fleeting vanity of it. What's the point? We have life. We have health, we have our minds, we have our conduct, we have a good heart, we have a good mind, we have the ability and the opportunity to create something good right now, or to do something positive right now, or even just to sit here and think something good to make myself feel a lot better. Remember something that was important, or remember something that made me feel better than how I feel now. But we don't act out of negativity, we remain positive. We work through the negativity to come out positive. You go through hell to come out right. You love yourself, you go through it. You love others, you go through it. You love life, you go through it. Anything that you love, you're going to go through it. Just to see that it shows and proves itself to be right. It comes out right. It works out right. It's working on that masterpiece until it's just right. See somebody down, working with them and trying to make them smile, bring them back to the spirit, back up again, seeing what's there, what's going on. Or you're just sitting there and just investigating and talking to them and helping them ventilate and letting it off their chest and doing whatever needs to be done till the person feels right again. But love goes through hell to come out right. The right angles. Love. Hell. Now, hell doesn't stand for hell, I'm just saying. Sounds like it. So what am I saying? If we're saying that we see that goodness is merely a title, but goodness is naturally your nature. It's who you are. We see that in goodness when we're sitting here and we're being still, we're working through our negativity, but we don't act out and we're just working through, we process it, we're doing a good thing, we're doing a positive thing. No matter how you're feeling, you can feel any way, you can feel like you want to just destroy something, but don't do it. Allow that energy to pass through. Just breathe. Soak in the sun, be infused with the light, be infused with the spirit, man. Nature will fuse you with its spirit, natural spirit, Nature's spirit is godly energy. It's God energy. Be infused by the spirit, great spirit, God, nature, the great mother nature, your great internal spirit. It aligns with mother nature. It ultimately reflects, it ultimately harmonizes, it becomes oneself. It's ultimately like taking a glass of water and putting in a mist of another water. Like you got freezing cold water, then you got room temperature water. You take that freezing cold water and you put it in that room temperature water, that freezing cold water becomes room temperature a lot quicker than if you just let that freezing cold water sit by itself. Supposed to just sitting by yourself, come around some room temperature water and sit amongst other wise minds that are just, you know what I'm saying, and just sit there and soak in that. You ain't got to say nothing, you don't have to do nothing. Just sit there and soak in that. You're going to naturally feel a lot better. You're going to be naturally infused with more wisdom. You're going to naturally elevate. You're going to naturally be better. You're going to naturally just grow. This is the role and the reasons why we sit under mentors or teachers, elevators and educators and enlighteners. All you gotta do is just sit there and soak it up. It's like the suntan. You don't have to do anything. You just gotta go out there and just soak in the sun. It's gonna tan your skin. It's give you that substance, give you that protection, give you that, you know what I mean? So the answer to it all is, and the answer to your own individual problems, our own individual problems and our own heartache, is to surrender all to Jah, surrender all to God, surrender all to the Creator, surrender all to the Great Spirit, surrender all to life. Surrender all to love unconditionally. Be still within and be calm. Do not try to overdrive your life. Do not try to overdrive your life. Be still, be calm, and do your work quietly. Live as the flowers live, opening your heart to the sunlight of the Creator's love. This is all we have to do. Do what we naturally do. And by our total commitment, it builds momentum, it builds energy, it builds resonance. And by our total commitment and continuing of doing it every day, you build up that level of magnetism necessary. You bring into your life those in which you need, those who need what you offer, who need what you naturally do. I'm all out here in the middle of Madison, Wisconsin. And we're connecting with people all over the world. I thought I had to be in LA or Hollywood or all these other places that I lived before, doing these progressive things and trying to work in the film and doing things, all type of different things. But the whole time, you just got to be you, and you just got to follow your imprint. You got to follow your fingerprint. You got to be who you are, wherever you're at, every time. Because you're always right where you're supposed to be. Every day you wake up, every day you go to sleep, every day you're living, every day you have a thought. You're right where you're supposed to be at that moment. It's what do you do from there? What's the next thought? What's the next idea? What's the next action? And if you don't know the next action is wait, peace, be still, wait, it will show itself. Come by way of inspiration, intuition, or confirmation from outside oneself, from one's idea, having it here, and then another person confirming it and be like, that's what I thought I was supposed to do. all one needs to do is simply be, and be their truest self. And take the time to discover, and take the time to live, and take the time to walk one's own life. There's no greater peace of mind than that. There's no greater story in life than that, man. Your life story is better than any movie that we could go see in the world. Your life story is more important and more valid and more enriching than any movie or any film ever created or not yet even created. Guaranteed. It will be way more fulfilling, for sure, guaranteed. You get way more out of it watching your own life than watching the lives we see on TV. For sure. For sure. So we practice good action. We practice good thinking. We practice good speaking. We practice good intentions. We practice good conduct. And though we practice good and our intentions are good, and though we aim and we strive for this goodness, goodness we know is merely a name, merely a title. So place not yourself above others. Place not yourself or value yourself above others or any other thing. But see your equality with all things, no matter their rate, no matter their weight, no matter their height and their grade. See yourself in your equality with all things. And conduct yourself from that loving, unconditional place with that equality in mind, in spirit, in emotion, carrying that out physically in your physical form. Equality, balance, wisdom, understanding. That is a peace of mind. That is a real peace of mind. So we waste no time searching for that which does not exist. For all things exist within ourselves, man. So if you can't see it in yourself, man, either spend some time searching deeper or accept the fact that it just might not be there. And move on to something good. Something greater. Your greatest self. It's waiting to unfold, even now, as we continue to unfold every day. Let's appreciate this unfoldment. Let's appreciate every breath and every opportunity to be our most truest and authentic self, express the emotions and the contents of our heart, the deepest contents of our mind. Share them with the world. Make this world a better place through your action. Let this place and make this world a better place through your being. Just your being present. This day. This day. That said, our prayer for the world is more love, more light, more peace, more harmony, though it looks like we're moving in a darker dimension, a darker way. It's not over. It's not over. Stay strong, y'all. Stay at it. Stay positive. Keep working at it, y'all. I love you all. Thank you again for tuning in. I wish you nothing but love and light. And I will see you all very soon. Very soon. Peace, love, and light. Bountiful blessings and prosperity and abundance with you this day. Thank you again for tuning in. Peace and love. Peace.